Is choosing Blake Shapen over Sawyer Robertson the right call right now?
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Locked On Baylor. I'm Drake Toll from Sports Illustrated's Inside the Bears. Thanks for making Locked On Baylor your first listen every single day. You will first notice that the audio on today's show is weird, funky, sounds open and gross, sounds like a Yeti microphone. That is because this is the end of the plug that goes into my microphone. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or whatever, it is broken, very broken. So I'm going to figure that out. God gives his toughest challenges to his strongest soldiers, and it is 12:05 a.m. at the time of recording. I am in a hotel in Conroe / the Woodlands due to high school baseball and a natural disaster that occurred in Huntsville, Texas. I'll get into all that later. Blake Shapen, Sawyer Robertson. Why this call and why now? Today's episode is a shortened episode of Locked On Baylor. You'll hear from Dave Aranda later. I will again explain why it's a shortened episode. But I first want to get into this QB battle that is now ended. My very first thought with this is why now? And I posed that in the open too. Why this decision and why now? And the why now answer doesn't seem to have an answer that makes sense. Why would you do this? Who needed to know that Blake Shapen was going to be the starting quarterback? Is it going to hurt ticket sales? Is it going to help ticket sales? I don't think it does either. I don't think it has near enough an effect for that to be something that was considered in this. But why did opponents need to know who are going to scout you? Why did fans need to know when you know the backlash that's going to come from Blake Shapen being the starter? It's only going to add headache. And why not at least, even if you know that Shapen's going to be the guy, wait it out through fall and decide during the fall, after fall camp, who your starting QB is going to be. It seems a lot more thorough. And not only that, you're very confident that Shapen's not going to transfer if he's benched, that Sawyer's not going to transfer if he's benched, that RJ Martinez is not going to transfer if he's benched. If you know that all three of those guys will be in a Baylor uniform no matter what next season, then why not wait until after fall camp to say, here's who progressed enough throughout the entirety of the offseason that we decided to make this call. Maybe you do it in-house. Maybe you let the guys know, hey, Blake's QB1 for now. And it gives that aura in the locker room that he's the guy. But from our standpoint, why did I need to know who Baylor's starting quarterback is going to be next year? I'm not upset. It gives content. It's the reason like today's show's titled what's titled is because of the decision that Dave Aranda made. And I think it's the right decision. And I get people are upset. They're pissed off that Blake Shapen, who was bad last year, is going to be the starting quarterback again. Read you off the last couple of games that he had. Against Air Force, 11 for 23, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was bad. It was a bad game. 21.7 QBR. Against Texas, 18 for 36, 179 yards. That's not good. That's terrible. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Against TCU, 21 for 30, 269 yards, touchdown and interception. At least got it done. And against Kansas State, maybe the one that really disheartens you, 22 for 38, 203 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those are some of the worst games that Blake Shapen had. They were down the stretch after his injury. Did he have a concussion? What was he dealing with? I don't know. I do know he finished with 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and his completion percentage landed at 63%. Better sophomore year stats than guys like Vince Young, Max Duggan. Cam mentioned it yesterday. He's got all this built up on those guys who ended up being really good at their craft. Let me read you Sawyer Robertson's stats. 23 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sawyer Robertson, let me be clear, I like the kid a lot, and I'm close with him. I've talked to him multiple times. I really enjoy him as a person, and I think he's going to be really good in the future for Baylor football. But I'll tell you this. He has great potential. I think he has far more potential than Blake Shapen. I do. But what did the coaching staff do last season? Instead of starting the guy who had experience, they started the guy who had potential. Instead of starting Gerry, who had the experience. They started Blake, who had way more potential. And that was kind of the MO. That was the, hey, we're going to go with Blake here because he's got a better arm. The upside is there. There's more upside to Blake Shapen being the starter than Gerry Bohanon. And all of you, myself included, at times were screaming for Blake Shapen to be that guy. Oh, he was. He was given the role, and now everybody's screaming for somebody else, for Sawyer Robertson, for RJ Martinez to be that guy. This offseason, learning from what I think the coaching staff would consider to be a mistake. They should have held on to Gerry for one more year at least. Learning from that, again, I'll call it a mistake. They have now decided to go with the guy who has the experience instead of the upside. They are going with consistency, experience, playing time, leadership over potential. Sawyer could be really, really good in a couple of years. But Blake has already proven that he can lead the team. I told you I was at an event with a football team in February, probably, and they had to designate a starting quarterback for this 11-on-11 special needs tournament. And the director said, hey, so do you guys have a quarterback who could just throw the ball around to those with special needs, and also the other helper receivers? And all the players immediately, Shape's our guy. I mean, in unison, he was the guy. And I think Sawyer's a great leader. Not to take away from Sawyer's leadership capabilities, but Blake is the leader of the locker room. He's the leader of this team, and that's why he's going to be a starter. The guys have bought into him. The team has bought into him. They believe in Blake Shapen. And I, as a Baylor fan, as someone who likes Baylor and appreciates Dave Aranda and trusts those coaches, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I support it. Put me on the Blake train. Because last year they sided with potential, and look where it ended up, 6-7. So now you go with consistency. Max Duggan, it took him, 3-4 years to progress into what he became. Could have been a Heisman winning quarterback at TCU. That's the trajectory you want Blake Shapen on. And if he can't reach there, then I think you start to question, okay, what are the methods that Sean Bell, Jeff Grimes, Dave Aranda are undertaking with these quarterbacks? And why aren't they developing like quarterbacks of old, a Baylor all of 10 years ago? What is keeping Baylor from having that level of quarterback now, especially with Jeff Grimes at OC and Sean Bell, QB coach? If the development's not there for Blake Shapen, and especially if it's not there for whoever the next guy is, Sawyer Robertson, RJ Martinez, if the development's not there, then I think it's less a personnel question and more how you're ushering that personnel through the program. That I'm not putting Sean Bell or Jeff Grimes to question yet. I'm saying if Shapen doesn't work out and then Robertson doesn't work out, then what? Both the guys are highly touted. They're good football players. Are they not being developed the way that Baylor needs to develop players? I can tell you who's developing me into a more comfortable man. It's Bird Dogs. I told you I had a long day. Today is a short podcast. Life happens. It's a daily podcast. Crap happens all the time. I've been doing games for West High School baseball for ESPN 1660, Central Texas, and had a game last night. Now, tonight, from when I'm talking, last night, from when you're listening, and it was in Huntsville, Sam Houston State. And we got to the hotel in Huntsville, power was out in the entire city. So we went and did the game, and then left there. Power was still out at the hotel. I had to drive 30 minutes south to the Woodlands. Stay in a new hotel. That's where I am now. I made the Walmart run for West High School baseball and bought them sodas and water. Drove 7 hours from Arkansas before that to get to the game. Then worked the game. Then did all that stuff and switched hotels and driving and no sleep. So I've had a lot of caffeine today. And I can tell you, I'm worn out. But one thing that's made this day better is Bird Dogs. They fit on my body nicely. I look good in them. I do. My mom thought they were Lulu shorts, which I think is just an homage to how great Bird Dogs are. Go out and buy you a pair right now. I actually can give you a little bit of a boost here before you go buy your pair. I have a promo code for you. And that promo code is birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. There's the logo. If you're wondering what Bird Dogs are, this is what they are. They are the most comfortable shorts, golf pants that you'll ever wear. birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. Enter promo code LockedOnCollege. They'll throw in a custom free Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege. Enter promo code LockedOnCollege. All caps. All right. I'm going to toss over to Dave Aranda in our shortened edition from his press conference the other day. Let's hear what he had to say because I was intrigued. We beat around the bush for a little bit and finally got to the conversation at hand. Quarterbacks. Dave, take it away.
It's good to see you guys. Since the end of spring, we've finished with our finals. Our team GPA, I think, ended up being a 3.02 for the whole team. This is the second highest, I want to say, in Baylor football history, after the fall 2021, semester GPA. So way proud of that. A lot of freshmen and everything that were involved in that, and we're a big piece of that. And so I think it's a great kind of foundation for what we can do this summer and what we can accomplish in the fall. I think the detail and the discipline it takes to do things when you don't feel like it are one of the things that are expressed in academic success. So excited about that. We got 15 guys here reporting on Saturday, so excited for that. Get them into the mix and in with our family, and then starting summer. Summer's such a busy time, not only with we have lifting and running, and we've got football school, so we've got drills and conditioning drills, and then time in the classroom to teach, summer camps, official visits, all of it. But it's funny because I was talking to one of the coaches, is if we could start with like a storyboard, if we were to write a short movie script or storyboard, it would start. Scene one would be, here's a kid that thinks he's somebody, and he's got a skill that separates him from other people, and then storyboard number 2 or page number 2 would be, here he is getting into a new place, doesn't know anybody, wants to prove himself, find some mentors, some people that can help him. Can he trust them? Page 3 would be, here's some adversity, trials and tribulations, right? Page 4 would be, here he is in a pit, all the way down, beaten and broken, and what he thought he knew, he doesn't know. And then, page 5 would be, here he is now on a rise, kind of a transformation. Here's somebody that's sees sport as something he can express who he really is. And so that whole thing's exciting to get into that and start again with a new group. But wanted to be able to have this time with you guys prior before we take any questions, because I know that there's the summer kind of talking tour is about to start. I think it actually starts tonight, and I'm sure with all of that there's going to be things that are going to come out that I have to imagine you guys have an interest in, and so wanted to be able to holler at you guys prior to any of that. So I appreciate you guys being here. But questions?
Dave, I guess it's kind of obvious, but have you decided on the starting quarterback?
We have, yeah. We had a talk with both Blake and Sawyer, I think, the week after the spring game, and so we named Blake the starter. And I had a really good talk with Sawyer and Blake at that time. And, the reasons for all of that, twofold. One is I thought, Sawyer really progressed and got better at the end of spring. I think things settled down for him and everything. And I have to imagine he's going to continue to get better. And so, in talking with Sawyer, it's like, hey, man, way impressed with you. Your future here is really bright. Hey, it's a big old thing. Just take it one step at a time and keep your head down. You're going to be great. With Blake, like, his consistency and his overall improvement was way impressive. And then his leadership and the growth there was impressive. And, I'd have to, from y'all's perspective, I can see in that spring game where it probably, could have been this or could have been that. I think overall, the spring with Blake was really good. And his leadership was much improved. And so, I think he earned it, would be one. And two would be, I think moving into the summer and just kind of into fall camp, is that we want to help solidify with Blake that, hey, this is your team. You've done all the work, you've earned it. We just talked about kind of being in a pit and kind of rising up, and I think that's the whole thing. I think, for me, I mean, how many times has that been me? And then you look at our players, and you just, when guys are in that position, to give them the opportunity to climb out that thing and be the new them, and I think that's what Blake's doing, and I'm way proud of him. And so want to give him the stage to be able to assert himself completely. He's the guy, it's his team, take us into summer and fall, give us the best shot to start it off. So excited for that. I thought talk with all of them both went well, and talking to Sawyer, I guess, hey, how you feel with all of it? And he goes, Coach, I love Baylor, it's where I want to be. You're going to continue to see me get better, and we all knew that, that's the case, and I'm sure that we will see him continue to get better.
So, Dave, where is he on the storyboard?
Same way, yeah, same way. I think for his growth, his growth is going to come on the game continuing to slow down for Sawyer, and to take ownership of of a consistency and of a knowledge base to where, there'd be times at the end, or in the middle of spring, towards the end of spring, where there'd be, we have a couple guys in the backfield, and it's like, okay, who's on first? It's okay. Do you know who's on first right now? And so I think to grow out of that space and to be able to say, hey, man, this is kind of where it's at. This is what we're doing. This is why we're calling it. This is what the expectation is. And those are all things I know he's been working overtime to get to that spot. I think it's just a matter of time. So future's bright for him.
Garmin Randolph didn't play in spring. What's his status with the team right now?
Garmin's suspended. Yeah, so, off the field issue. And so we're hoping to have that kind of cleared up here soon, but I think it's unfortunate, and it's something that I hope is taken as a learning experience. I know I am taking it that way. And so I'm hopeful that that's how it's taken with him.
You mentioned the 15 newcomers. Is that a combination of transfers and freshmen? Can you kind of break down the group that will be coming in?
Yeah, so, transfer-wise, we've got a few here just recently that we're working on getting cleared. I think of there's 3 potentials, 2 are cleared right now. And then we've got some freshmen that are coming in that wanted to finish out the semester, at school. And so they just graduated, everything. And so they're going straight from graduation to heading down this way. And then we've got a few walk-ons that are prefer guys and stuff that are going to show up as well. And so, yeah, I think we're going to be right at our allotment for the number that we can have, And so excited for that we've got just a full group, and that, they're one of the things I'm most, if I allow myself, one of the things that I'm proud of and pleased for is that people are coming. The folks that are choosing to come to Baylor right now is because of what Baylor is, and how they see, how they see Christian faith, how they see, the importance of education, how they see, hey, we want to win championships, we want to win this way, doing it this way. And there's guys that are coming because of that. Or I think maybe in the past there'd be times where I'd be trying to explain, hey, this is kind of why we want to do it this way, and so now they're coming now because of it. And that's just a way cool thing. And I think it's very much illustrated in the group that's coming here in a couple days.
Dave, I can't remember if it was Grimes or one of the other coaches, but they talked about it's rare when you hit on just about everything. And they were talking about the transfers. Did you feel like you got, particularly what you've seen so far, that pretty much all those guys were hits? Yeah,
we got a couple of them on like the dean's list, they're 4.0s. So And then they're great players. They're starters right now. They're leaders. So I think that ties in with the previous comment. I just think, one of the and when it's transfer, it's happened so fast. So kid enters the transfer portal that night, he's got 15 or 20 offers, and then you don't know how much of this stuff's kind of been in the weeds and all of it prior to that, which usually if that's the case it's already done. But and so there's always the push to go fast, hurry, do this, do that, and so while we ascribe to that somewhat, and I feel like you have to, there is an element where they sit down with me and they kind of go through all this stuff with Baylor, and that could turn some folks away, and so for the guys that kind of turn to it, I think says everything, because that's the guy that we want. And so there's enough dudes out there where you can get the ones that fit, and I feel like we have to this point. So
Dave, Byron Bonds, I believe he signed up. Yeah, what's he going to add to the team?
Pass rush. Yeah, I think I think when you look at the 3-4, there's the jack on this side of it. There's the wheel linebacker in the middle of it. There's the nose in the middle of it. I guess you could look at those two maybe as one guy or one element, I guess. And then there's the star on the other side. And so with the star and the jack, on or near the line of scrimmage with the 3 down linemen, that's 5 guys. Offense has got 5 guys to block those 5 guys. So how do they do it? If the jack is a legitimate pass rusher and can win a one-on-one, they'll slide the protection to the jack, which now allows the star to win a one-on-one versus a running back. And there's Jalen a couple years ago showed how that looks. If the jack is a rusher and the star is a rusher, then they have to block, those 5 have to block our 5, which now opens it up for either the nose to win a one-on-one on the center, or the will to rush and get a one-on-one on the running back. And so you have all of these are 4-man rushes, and so you can play your coverages with the 7 guys, whatever you want. But the essence of the 3-4 is who's the 4th rusher. And if you could do that in a way that ties in with attacking their weakness or their lack of numbers, the better it is for us. And I think it starts with the jack rush, and so Byron gives us that. And he's also got great. He's got a great heart, great enthusiasm, very energetic. I think there's some there's an edge that he's going to bring to us that I feel like we need.
Dave, the first year 2-7, then 12-2, the great run, and then last year didn't finish well. Who are you among those 3 years? What do you expect from you in year 4?
Yeah, all of it. I think keep growing, all of it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of learning and growth in all of those years, and so I think just standing here in front of you guys now from 2020, and what was that, Zoom, I guess, just so different now than then. And so, I think to know better and to be humble at the same time and to be hungry for more improvement is who I would say I would be.
That was Dave Aranda. I apologize again for the audio issues today. I'm going to get those fixed-ish. That's the goal. You can hear the cooler going on in the background, AC, whatever it is. Thanks for making Locked On Baylor your first listen every single day. Our everydayers, thank you. It means a lot to me, especially on days like today where I'm tired, but I do it because I know people appreciate hearing about Baylor every day, and you deserve to. That I know of, this is the only program that focuses 100% on Baylor every day, and I want to keep bringing that to you. So thanks for making this fun for me. This has been, it always will be. I'm going to be quiet because I'm in a hotel. Locked On Baylor.